Hey there viewers, it's Charlie, I'm back again, and welcome back to the G1 Marathon. Now, today I shall review 3 figures. Scoop, Quickmix, and Landfill. Now these guys are the 3 Autobot double Targetmasters. And well, there are Decepticon double Targetmasters. There's a helicopter called Spinister, a tank called Quake, and a jet called Needlenose. But as of right now, I do not have any of the Decepticon double Targetmasters. But hey, at least I've got the 3 Autobot ones. So let's start off with Scoop. Not related to Bob the Builder, before you ask. But as we can see, Scoop here is a front-end loader, pretty similar to either Scrapper or Cybertron Landmine. But of course, as always, we have a tech spec to look at. Function: Field Infantry. Generosity has its own rewards. A gung-ho fighter who never gives up. Considered the best in the field. Uses cool-headed logic and hardened battle tactics to outwit his enemies. Always ready to lend a helping shovel to his fellow Autobots, no matter how dangerous the situation. The kind of soldier you want when you're pinned down in a slug swamp with no ammunition. Teamed with Tracer, who I do not have, who transforms into a twin laser-guided ion blaster. And Hole Punch. This guy, a former office manager to a military man who transforms into a steel-shattering dual compression cannon. Yeah, keep in mind, the Targetmasters were Nebulans, and they were more organic than the Transformers were, but, well, let's just have a look at his tech spec. As you can see, his strength is 7, intelligence is 8, speed is only 3, endurance is 6, so is his rank, his courage is 9, his firepower is 8, and so is his skill. So, yeah, this means that Scuba is actually a pretty good guy. Now moving Hole Punch aside and having a look at Scoop. Well, as I said earlier, he's a front end loader. This actually does work. It can bend in a couple ways. I mean, got a hinge here, got a hinge here, and this can move up and down. So the bucket can move quite a bit. Got a few sticker detailings, and of course this guy was released after 1988, so he does not have a rub symbol. But if I would have put a rub symbol on him, I'd say either one of the arms here, like maybe this arm, or on top of the cab. But more preferably, I would have put it on this bit right here, next to the ladder, which I just realized that this side doesn't have the ladder. That's an attention to detail there. The underneath, which is a bit hollow, but I mean, has a bit of the robot showing. And the top, and he does have these holes. Well, if I just bring in Hole Punch, I mean, he's got a pin in between his legs. Thank God it's not higher up. But yeah, this guy's just a brick. He has no articulation whatsoever. Although, if you just fold out this little cannon bit, they can either attach onto the front bit here, can attach onto one of the side bits, or it can attach onto here. So there are a few places to put Hole Punch if you want him in gun mode. But that's enough about Hole Punch. Let's have a look at Scoop's transformation. This is when my first stops working. Just take these bits and move them up on these ratchets. I might as well just go up here and flip out his fists if you can. Just get your fingernail in there and just push them up. come in here, take the back of the front end loader, flip that out, and then just flip that down. Move up the bucket. Move down move down these bits. Come in here, open up the canopy section and move that to the back. And then just move the scoop to the back. Well, the buckets. Well, the yellow section, whatever you want to call it. And here we have scoop in his robot modes. And yeah, my copy, it does lean back a little bit, but eh. But yeah, a pretty Scrapper-esque transformation. I mean, this flipping out, the legs just folding. I mean, the legs folding out, the scoop coming to the back. Yeah, it's pretty similar to Scrapper, although Scrapper was actually a bit more simpler than this guy. I mean, having a look at Scoop's head, we can see it pretty much looks all yellow. So we can see he's got a visor. So, yeah. Now, for this guy's articulation, I mean, the arms can move. I guess, technically, he can kneel. He actually can kneel, but that's it. These legs are just one solid unit. So there's no splits whatsoever. Although one thing I forgot to mention, and this is amazing, he can actually move his head. He's actually able to move his head. I'm not joking, that is amazing. But now, it's actually on hole punch, the robot mode. It doesn't really go on its hand, but it can still go on. What am I even saying? You can still post it on the little side of his arm. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Scoop. Coming up next, here we have Quickmix. And as we can see, this guy's a cement mixer. Now, for this guy's tech spec, function, chemist. The faster it is, the better I like it. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was reading Blur's tech spec. Impatient, short-tempered, inventor. Well, I'm also short-tempered and impatient. Always in a hurry. Constantly devising new formulas and developing new ways to defeat the Decepticons. Somewhat absent-minded. Too busy starting new projects to see his old experiments through to the end. Teamed with the Nebula and Ricochet. This guy, who transforms into a submachine gun, and the bombastic Boomer. That is actually his name, I'm not joking. Who transforms into a sonic pulse cannon. In vehicle mode, reaches maximum speed of 150 miles per hour. But now reading his technical stats. Well, here we can see his strength and intelligence are both 6. Speed rises to 7. And it stays at 7 for endurance. Goes back down to 6 for rank. Goes up to 9 for courage. Goes down to 8 for firepower. And moves down to 6 for his skill. So that's Quickmix's bio. Now having a look at the figure, if I can just move these two out of the way. As I said, this guy here is a chemist. Oh, well, that's his function. What I'm trying to say is he transforms into a cement mixer. And this guy looks like he can give Mixmaster a run for his money. Here we can see this side has these screws, unlike this side. The top, which has some sticker detailing, and if I were to put a rub sign on this guy, it would be here. The underneath, which, well, we can see a bit of the robot. And if we bring back Boomer and Ricochet, With Boomer, as you can see, he actually has an entire golden arm. And he's got one big boob. And it's the same with Ricochet. Yeah, instead of being a black jazz recolor, this guy's a little yellow guy. And if we just flip out the little guns. Well, they can attach. Well, the only way I can see them attaching is on the mixing drum. Like so. This is pretty much the only way they actually attach, is on the mixing drum. So I guess now if he wants to blast chemicals at the Decepticons, he can. We're getting them off. Now to transform Ricochet, not Ricochet, Quickmix. To transform Quickmix, what you do is take this front flap, move that up, flip the entire front of the vehicle around, similar to Mixmaster. Come in here, fold out the wheel set, like so. Take the mixing drum and just push that in. And then just come in here and push up his head, and then just move these up. So here we have Quickmix in just robot mode. And that's a pretty Mixmaster-esque transformation. Yeah, just like how Scoop was pretty similar to Scrapper, this guy is pretty similar to Mixmaster. And I do like the use of the mixing drum here as the... Oh, excuse me, my Alexa's going off. Apologies, folks. The Amazon Echo always tries to interrupt what you're doing. It's not just me, it's with everyone. But, well, continuing, before I was so rudely interrupted by a piece of plastic, I do appreciate how this thing actually does become his chest. That is pretty clever. Having a look at his head, if we can keep it up. Well, we can see that it sort of reminds me of Power Glide, because he's just got a visor. Well, not a visor, a mouth plate. And it's a very similar head design, honestly. Now, for this guy's articulation, there's nothing at the head, although it can go up and down if you want it to. The arms can, of course, move. I suppose you can sort of move forward, and once again he can kneel, but aside from that, that's pretty much all the articulation. Once again, no T-posing, no splits. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Quickmix. Now finally, let's move on to Landfill. And as we can see, Landfill is a dump truck. And for his tech spec, if I can just get my laptop ready. Function, materials transport. Adventure is found in unlikely places. Okay. A four-wheeled rubbish shite. That didn't come out that well, did it? Let's try that again. A four-wheeled rubbish site. Oh, please don't laugh at that. Leaves a trail of decaying refuse wherever he goes. So yeah, technically he is a rubbish shite. Friendly, cheerful, but a bit of a slob. His Nebulan partners, Flintlock, which I don't have. A heat-targeting stress pistol, which induces metal fatigue and fractures in steel. And Silencer. A noiseless, recoilless proton rifle. Fellow Autobots dislike working with Landfill because he's filthy and smells so bad. So, yeah. So when I accidentally said he's a rubbish shite, I mean, he smells like it. But anyway. So his strength is 8. Endurance is 6. Speed is 2. Endurance is 8. Rank is 5. Courage and firepower are both 8. Skill is 7. And smelliness is over 9,000. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Landfill's bio. Pretty much depicting him as a really stinky, friendly guy. I mean, imagine if this figure had the actual smell that the character does. But well, yeah, as you can see, this guy's a dump truck. So it makes sense for him to smell like out-of-date McDonald's burgers. But tangent aside, this guy's got some pretty cool detailing. We've got the dumping bed, which of course doesn't do what it's supposed to. And the underneath doesn't have any robot junk underneath. Now for silencer, let me just flip that out. And once again, the only way to actually plug in the gun is to just plug in like so. Yeah, I don't understand. If Scoop can have multiple ports for touching on Targetmasters, why do Quickmix Landfill only have the signed ones? I'm just going off on a tangent again. So getting Landfill transformed, unlike the other two, which are similar to their Constructicon counterparts, this guy does not transform in the same way that Longhaul does. These don't form the legs. Instead, the underneath of the figure forms the legs. And these, well, the dumping bed forms his arms. So try and split that, like so. That reveals his head. Then just move that, like so. Next, come in here and spin these around and fold up his arm. Get the Targetmaster and put in his arm. And here we have Landfill. So, yeah. So just having a 360 of this guy. I mean, he does look sort of similar to Longhaul because this does form his chest like Longhaul does. But unlike Longhaul, who complained about being the crotch of Devastator all day long, this guy is supposed to be friendly, but remember, he's supposed to smell like absolute shit. But, well, let's just have a look at his head. And as we can see, I'm not really sure what to make of this head. Like, I can't tell if this is supposed to be like his mouth or what, but yeah, it's a pretty cool head. Now, articulation, well, there's nothing at the head. His arms do move, but there's no elbows. I guess technically, although it's a bit awkward and loose, he can sort of T-pose. And I suppose if you must, you can move these for a bit more articulation. I suppose he can limbo. And he can move his feet, but that's it for articulation. Once again, the feet are connected. Well, that's pretty much it for Landfill. Now, before I end this review, something I forgot to mention. I'll do this with Quickmix's weapons because they're the only ones I have. In the instructions, it shows that the Targetmasters can actually combine. For example, if you just fold this one of them up and just attach them on like so, it's supposed to form some kind of super rifle. Or if you keep the gun out, it's supposed to form some sort of double gun. And there are the pegs in all of them, so if you want to do a huge conga line of all of the Autobot and Decepticon weapons, then you can. But that's pretty much it for my review on the Autobot Double Targetmasters. Now, complaints with Scoop. Well, this is just my copy. He leans back because he's a bit loose. Not to mention, I still wish he did have the handheld. Well, I'll start again. I do wish he had holes in his hands to actually hold his weapons correctly. Although I do appreciate how he has multiple weapon ports. With Quickmix, his head keeps drooping down into the mixing drum, and that can get really annoying. And with Landfill, I mean, he can sort of go a bit too far down, as you can see. And that can be a bit weird. Plus, these bits are quite loose. But aside from that, that's all I have to say about these guys. So, do I recommend them? Well, once again, if you're an 80s fan or G1 fan, because, well, these guys are really cool. Plus, I really like the Targetmasters. I mean, I just really wish I had the Decepticon ones as well. And, well, say you hate the fact that these guys have no articulation. Say you want these guys to have way more articulation. Well, with Scoop, there is the Generations figure. Although with Quickmix Landfill, you're currently got no luck. As of right now, there's no official highly posable versions of Quickmix and Landfill. But with Scoop, there is the Generations figure. So, this has been my review on the Autobot Double Targetmasters. And this is Charlie Young, signing off.